guys, it's Anissa. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are doing another full face of first impressions, but today we are testing pretty much all high-end makeup. I have some One Size Beauty, I have some Shiseido, I have some IT Cosmetics, Violet Voss, Anastasia Beverly Hills. We got a little bit of everything. Spoiler alert, it turned out pretty good. If you're interested to see how I came up with this look that I have on my face, then make sure to keep on watching. But before we go any further, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I post on this channel every 4 days, so you never have to miss me for too long. Let's just go ahead and get into it. Start on the brows, and I'm gonna start by outlining them first. We do have a new brow product. This is the One Size BROWKIKI Micro Brow Pencil, and I have the color Black Brown. This is dual-ended, so you get your spoolie on one side and the product on the other. We're not gonna talk about my lashes. I know they're looking rough. I need a fill so bad. I had a really bad allergic reaction to a dog, and it for some reason made my eyes flare up really bad, and my eyelashes were just falling out like there's no tomorrow. I do have some more One Size products to try in today's video. Everything I've tried from him so far has been really hit or miss, which I was really surprised about. I just figured that I would love everything that he had. It has nice pigmentation and it's pretty creamy. Let's see how the blendability is. Seems like it's blending out nicely too. Not seeing any harsh lines. I've tried his pressed powder, and the pressed powder is okay, but the Beauty Creations powder foundation is literally an exact dupe for it. The first eyeshadow palette that he came out with, I really wasn't super impressed by the color scheme. Like, it wasn't anything that I felt like I needed to have. I actually really like that. The key things that I look for in a brow pencil is something that is pigmented, something that is creamy so it's not going to tug on the skin, and something that is blendable. And that was all three of those things. I would give it a 10 out of 10 first impressions. I am so excited to try this brow pomade. This is a brand new product. This is the Benefit POWMADE brow pomade, and I have the color number 5 in warm black brown. This is what it looks like. This little thing over here is for you to wipe your brush, the sides of your brush on, which is something that I always do just to get any excess product off of. What I do with my pomade is I'm just gonna go in and fill in the sparse areas, mainly on the end of my brow. I kind of leave the front alone because I found that it makes it look a little bit more natural when it's sparse at the front. You don't want block brows. I love the Benefit Precisely My Brow pencil. It's probably easily in my top 3. I'm really not picky with pomade. I just want it to be pigmented. See the difference? Sparse areas are gone over here versus I still have them over here. I was a little worried about the color because it claimed to be like a more warm color, but I didn't like the color that they had underneath this. Also a 10 out of 10, and you get a lot of product in here. I went ahead and carved out my brows using this KEVYN AUCOIN, the Sensual Skin Enhancer Concealer, and I have the color SX12 to show you guys what it looks like. Jump right into the eyeshadow for today. I feel like I always look the craziest when I have just the bottom of my brows carved out because the top still needs carved out, but I don't do that until I put foundation on. It only comes in one shade. Just comes on a little doe foot applicator, and it looks to have a more whitish, pinkish color. I have slowly grown to love everything that I have tried from the Sephora collection makeup line. If you guys are wanting to get into more high-end makeup but don't want to spend a whole bunch of money, I would recommend trying stuff from the Sephora collection line because it's affordable, but it also is more high-end makeup. I especially love their lip liners. Usually I would prefer something that actually has a little bit of coverage to it and makes my lids a little bit lighter because it will kind of help your shadows pop a little bit more when they have a lighter canvas to go on. It's not tacky, but my eye do feel pretty smooth. I do have a lot of texture on my eyes. And I found too that when you use eyeshadow primer, your eyeshadow is going to last a little bit longer because it has something to stick and adhere to, kind of like glue, instead of just going right on top of your face. Same thing with foundation. You know, your foundation will last longer when you use a primer because it has something nice to go on top of. Today for eyeshadow, I'm going to be using this One Size eyeshadow quad, and this is in the color Golden Cocoa. And when I saw this, let me tell you guys, I was like, this is so perfect, and I'm really hoping that I love the formulas on these. This is perfect for me because this is like my everyday neutral look. I tend to find that I lean more towards color in the summertime, and then once fall and winter come, I'm like, okay, I want my neutral golds and my bronzy colors back. First, I'm going to take this color right here, Oh My Dear, and I'm just going to take a fluffy brush and put this in my crease as a transition shade. definitely showing up, so I want to see if I can build it a little bit. I actually really like that because it shows up and it's also blending out very nicely, and I felt like I was actually able to build the color up a little bit. Getting a little bit of kickback in the pan. Kind of have to like lift my eyebrows when I do my eyeshadow because my eyes are hooded. Not a complaint because I do like the color. This is actually a little bit darker on the eyes than it is in the pan. I'm going to go in with the color Santa Snack right here, and I'm just going to take a more dense brush. I'm going to pack this on the outer part of my crease. This color is actually a little bit more reddish, warmish than I thought it would be. I thought it'd be like a more like espresso. Once I have my color packed on, I just go in and blend that out using kind of just like a circular motion. Then I'm just going in with a clean brush to blend out the edges of my crease color. I'm gonna use my finger on one eye to go in with this color Ice Golden right here, and I'm just gonna put that on my lid. And then on the other eye, we will use a brush with some setting spray. It's like a very foily gold. It's not super chunky either. The formula is pretty smooth. Honestly feel like first impressions that the finger kind of packs more of a punch. And I usually just use my finger because it's way quicker. I'm still getting the pigment with the brush, but I felt like I kind of had to go over parts multiple times. Just gonna take another clean brush and blend this glittery color in with my crease. That way it kind of gradiently blends. And it's kind of nice because I have hooded eyes, so it kind of just blends together anyway. The shadows just had a little bit of kickback in the pan, but on the eyes, I'm really not getting a whole bunch of fallout. Just gonna gradiently kind of push that out to the crease color. That way it gradiently blends together. I honestly really like this first impressions. This for me is like my favorite quad color scheme that I've ever seen, and the shadows are good quality. Are they the best thing I've ever tried? No. I can see myself definitely using the crap out of this, especially if I just need something really quick. We're not done with the eyes though, because I do have a shadow topper. This is from VOSS. It doesn't have the name of the product, but I always leave the exact name right here for you guys and down in the description box. Place this right over top where I have my gold. Ooh, okay, I kind of like that. I feel like when my eye was like this, it looks very, very pink, but then in different lights, it's not super pink. It's very monochromatic. Just to kind of pat it out a little bit, I'm just gonna go in with a clean shadow brush and just blend it in with everything. You can definitely tell a difference between this eye and this eye. I really used to never be into eyeshadow toppers, and then I kind of realized that I would do my own eyeshadow toppers when I would combine different colors. So I usually will go in with a more like shimmer based shadow and then go in on top of it with a more glittery shadow, which is pretty much the same thing as using a shadow topper. 10 out of 10, I also really like that. Go ahead and do liner, so I went ahead and used these e.l.f. Line and Define eye tapes. This is also another One Size product. This is the One Size 24-hour liquid eyeliner pen. I got these two in a gift set. Usually not really big on gift sets because I'll like certain products in the gift set, but then I know I won't use other ones, which to me I feel like is wasteful. So I was really happy when I saw this because I really have been wanting to try his liner. You get this really long, nice pointy felt tip. I've actually been doing my wings a little bit differently, so I kind of want to like talk you guys through how I've been doing them. I kind of start really short, and I will drag the pen right before where the peak of my eye is. I used to bring my liner in all the way here, but I found that because I have hooded eyes, further you bring it in, the smaller and closed off it makes my eyes look. And you guys will be able to see versus when I stop it here, it really actually elongates the eye. I always start with my wing here and then I go shorter to longer. First impressions, definitely one of the better liners I've used. It's very, very pigmented, and I'm actually glad that I used that glitter shadow topper because sometimes eyeliner formulas do not like glitter and then they kind of clump up and it looks really weird, versus this just went right over everything. Just gonna do the same thing on the other eye. First impressions, definitely gonna give this a 10 out of 10. I was very, very impressed. It was just really easy to use, and that's what I look for because I'm really no eyeliner pro myself, and I know that like when I was first getting into eyeliner, I really liked products that were easier to use because when you're trying something new, you want to make it as simple and easy as possible to learn a new skill. And that's with anything you do. Instead of closing the eye off, lifts your eye. So if you have hooded eyes and you haven't tried that, maybe try it out. I just think it looks a lot more elegant. 10 out of 10 on the eye, so we are gonna go ahead and start on the complexion. I do have a new primer mist today that I'm actually kind of nervous / excited to try. Rare Beauty Always an Optimist 4-in-1 mist. Only reason I say I'm kind of nervous to try this is because you can see at the top that there are little bubbles, and the bubbles are oil. And this girl's got oily skin. So I like to use hydrating products, but I really try to stay away from things that have literal oil in them. I've seen a lot of people that do have oily combo skin like it. And honestly, her brand is slowly becoming one of my favorites. I feel like it's really all around good. I'm not coughing because it smells like too strong. It's because when I was spraying, I inhaled as I was spraying. First impression, this didn't really give me like an invigorating, hydrating whoosh of energy. I have other primer mists that are cheaper than that, and that's what I look for. I like something that is hydrating and is gonna kind of give my skin a little bit of a boost. I'm gonna continue to use it because it wasn't bad. I'm not turned off of it, but I don't think that this is something that I would go run and repurchase if I ran out of. I feel like if you're somebody with much drier skin than me, you may want something that has an oil in it. This is just a guess. I've never tested this and I don't know, if it's been proven, but I feel like if you had drier skin, the oil actually may help your makeup glide on a little bit better. When you have oily skin, your face has that nice glide to it versus when your skin's dry, you really don't have that, if that makes sense. Just an educated guess. Don't have a new hydrating primer, so I just went ahead and applied this Morphe 2 Total Softie Gel Moisturizer, but I do have a new pore filling / mattifying primer. We are going to be using a whole bunch of Shiseido products today. This is just the first one. Shiseido Synchro Skin Soft Blurring Primer. I hauled most of this makeup actually in Sephora VIP sale haul. It is a lotion texture. I expected it to be a silicone texture, and I will be the first one to tell you guys this is also totally a preference thing. I usually tend to prefer silicone based primers for my pores, but I know a lot of people don't like silicone based primers. I can physically feel it smoothing a little bit more than I can with a lotion. It is a nice thin consistency. It's not thick feeling or anything like that, and the face does feel smooth. For foundation, we're gonna use the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation, and this claims to be oil free with SPF of 30. The color 430 Cedar. This claims to have medium coverage. It's supposed to be hydrating, long wearing, and it claims to have a natural finish. Always pump things onto my Morphe mixing plate just in case I do end up having to adjust the shade. It's already on the plate. To unlock this, you actually have to twist the whole bottom part of the product. It's very runny. I think that match will be fine. Sometimes I forget I have wings, and as I'm doing my foundation, I love to cover up part of my wing. I do have a new beauty sponge. I have two of them. MILANI Sponge Duo. Y'all know I'm a sucker for soft sponges, so when I felt this, I was like, oh, I've got to try it. And it does have a flat side, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this flat side because it does have a bigger surface area. Y'all know I'm all about efficiency, so anything that can get the job done quickly, I will try. First impressions, I definitely do agree that that does have medium coverage. Although having acne and redness on your face sucks, it's great for testing out foundation because you can tell if it actually covers stuff. You will tend to get a little bit more coverage with a brush than you will a sponge because a sponge, I mean, it's a literal sponge. It will soak up some of your product, but I tend to like the way that a sponge looks a little bit better because I think it makes the makeup look a little bit more skin-like. And maybe I tend to think that it makes the skin look more skin-like because it does have a little bit less coverage. Yeah, honestly, really don't feel the need to build that up because I am gonna be using a powder foundation. This is the before, this is the after. It does have a good amount of coverage. I haven't looked up close yet, but I honestly really don't feel the need to build this up because it initially gave me medium coverage and it doesn't even claim to have full coverage. So I'm not even gonna try to go there. For my foundation, I do prefer anything that is anywhere between medium and full coverage. Really, I'm not a light coverage type of girl. I'm the type of person that if I'm putting makeup on, I'm putting makeup on. I used about a pump and a half on this side of my face, and I'm using about a pump over here. When using a foundation brush to get the most coverage out of your product, kind of do a stippling motion and go in circles like that. Ooh. Okay, that has really good coverage. Now look, I was just talking about how I cover up my wings and I did it again. I feel like I definitely had more discoloration and stuff over here. And I honestly feel like brush side is full coverage, because I mean, you can't even really see the redness that is around this pimple right here. And you can't see any of my discoloration. This side of my face definitely looks more full coverage than this side. I almost say that this isn't medium. I would say that this is medium to full, because you can achieve full with just one layer. And again, I only used a pump over here. This is so pretty on the skin. Really, really skin-like. It's not hanging on to any of my texture weird. Two things I really mainly look for in a foundation are medium to full coverage, and if I do have texture, you can't expect a foundation to get rid of your texture. Like it's not gonna happen. It's raised surfaces on your skin. Your foundation is not going to smooth it. It's just going to cover it, versus powder is kind of gonna be more smoothing. I just expect my foundation to not hang on to my pimples and my marks on my face weird. And it didn't. 10 out of 10 on the sponge, 10 out of 10 for this foundation. Hop into cream bronzer. I wanna do cream bronzer before I do concealer today. Anastasia Beverly Hills cream bronzer, and this is in the color Hazelnut. It's just the like prettiest brown espresso color. Usually with products that come in a pot, I will dip into the product with my brush, and it does look pretty creamy. Then go on the back of my hand and kind of just blot the product onto my hand. That way I can get rid of any excess, because I found with cream bronzer, it's way easier to build than to take away. Trust me on this. Okay, well, it's definitely showing up. When you're putting on cream bronzer, do not do a swiping motion. That's how you get patchiness, and you can potentially pull your foundation off from underneath. Do a patting motion, and you're packing the product into your skin. Now let's see how blendable it is. Blend it out. As long as the product can blend out. I'm really not super confident with cream bronzer. Me and her are new. Like, we're establishing a relationship with each other right now, so we're just kind of getting to know each other at this point. And I found too that with cream bronzer and blush, sometimes I prefer a formula that is more natural finish, because I found that products that claim to have a matte finish are a little bit harder to blend in because they dry down so quickly. It's a nice color and it's blending out. Wow. Okay, I actually like this side of my face more than this side. I actually really like that. I felt like it gave a very nice subtle bronze, but it was buildable. So I was able to build on top of it. I was actually so sad because when I was pre-filming my Shop My Stash for this month, because I'm going on vacation, I thought about talking about how I really love the stick foundation from Anastasia as a contour, but I just found out they don't even sell it anymore. So I've got to put that in my bin of stuff that's like discontinued. I'm not talking about the contour highlight sticks. I'm talking about they used to have actual foundation sticks that they don't even sell anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and quickly carve around the top of my brows with the leftover foundation that I have. Now we are ready to move into concealer. I'm so happy that I have loved everything so far. My luck is literally never this good. You don't understand. SHISEIDO SYNCHRO Skin Refreshing Concealer, and I have the color 304 Medium. Again, I'm just gonna quickly look up what coverage this has. I'm guessing that I wouldn't have bought it if it didn't claim to have full. This claims to have medium to full coverage, and it has a natural finish. The wand is unique. It's more of like an hourglass shaped doe-foot applicator. Usually with concealers, I will not even buy them or try them if they do not have claim to have full coverage. And that's just a preference thing. I like my under eyes to be very concealed. Very creamy formula. Let me know how you guys feel about the whole concealer trend where you like put a little here and then put a little over here. I don't think I'll ever be able to get on that train. I've tried it before and I just feel like it really does not make that huge of a difference. I like everything in this region right here to be. I'm just taking the small version of the Milani sponges. I'm telling you right now, I can already see myself going and buying more of these. I love finding affordable sponge options for you guys, because I'm telling you, you want to pay for the beauty blender, go ahead. But there are things that are cheaper that work just as good, if not better. I would say she's definitely full coverage. The This is actually the perfect size for underneath the eye. Usually I will not even bother to wet 2 sponges because I'm like, I would just rather use one. Good morning, I'm telling you. Once I put my concealer on, I can finally start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm like, okay, it's all coming together. We're doing good, sweetie. I feel like that color is perfect for me too. Definitely feel like this has full coverage. I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna apologize because I should have done one eye with a sponge and one eye with a brush. I do use a sponge and a brush for concealer. I found that you had a little bit more coverage with a brush, so I'm sure that I would have got really good coverage with a brush as well. I'm telling you guys, things can never just go perfectly for me in one video. Something has to go wrong or I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I always go in with a little e.l.f. Flawless Concealer brush to go underneath the eyes and just make sure that nothing is hanging on weird. I do have lots of little fine lines underneath my eyes. I honestly kind of like putting on my bronzer before my concealer. Sometimes when I put on my bronzer after my concealer, they're like 2 separate entities versus now I feel like they're much more in sync with one another. Close, it's not hanging on weird underneath the eyes or anything like that. Looks good. Once I blended it out with the sponge, I feel like I kind of got more so medium coverage. What I'm gonna do is put on a little bit more and I'm gonna blend it out with a brush. So I'm not gonna put on nearly as much as I did at first, but just a little bit and blend that in with a brush. She gave full coverage. I'm actually kind of glad. It's buildable and I'm gonna look up close to see if it looks weird because sometimes I don't even bother to build up with some concealers because they just look weird and cakey and not cute. It's not hanging on weird. Instantly, she has gotten 12 hours of sleep. Last Shiseido product for this video, Shiseido Synchro Skin Invisible Silk Loose Powder, and I got this in the color Radiant Translucent. This product is actually what got me into even wanting to try any of the products. It has one of these like sifter things, and I will tell you, I'm really not all for these. I would rather just have the little holes and be able to dip my product out. Stop. Instantly filtered underneath my eyes. Your girl is impressed. I feel like this really genuinely is translucent because it's not even lightening. I found with some translucent powders, they do tend to lighten just a little bit, which I don't mind because I do like my under eyes to be a little bit lighter anyways. I've never tried anything like this because it's a setting powder and I could tell that it filtered, but it didn't suck all of the life from underneath my eyes. I still feel like my under eyes look like they have light. The name is Radiant. I didn't even pay any attention to that. I'm really impressed. Just to show you guys what it looks like up close. Very, very filtered. Don't mind the fine lines underneath my eyes. I have never found anything that can really conceal those, and they don't bother me, quite frankly, because I've had them for so long. Usually I can tell if I like a powder or not if it's hanging onto those fine lines weird, and this is not. Shiseido did not come to play. I really hope I'm saying that right. I'm very, very impressed with everything that I have tried. I also do have the pressed powder, but the pressed powder, I do think I need to return and get a darker color in if I can. If not, I'll probably just end up using it underneath the eyes, but I know that it's way too light for all over the face. And that's what I'm kind of fearing with this powder foundation that we're gonna use today. I think it may be a little bit too light, but we're still gonna just try it. And if not, I'm just gonna set all over my face with that translucent powder. But before I do that, I do want to go ahead and do the flash test. No flashback. Oh my gosh, I love the way my under eyes look. We're gonna go ahead and set all over the face. This is the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Plus Airbrush Perfecting Powder, and I have the color Rich. This is what it looks like. I know it looks a little light, but I tell you guys, when picking a powder foundation, do not pick something that looks like your skin exactly in the pan, because most of the time powders will be a little bit darker on your face than they will in the pan. And I'm just gonna see how light this actually is. Oh wow, see, look, like that ended up being a perfect match. Forehead is always the true test to see if the color is good or not. Kind of just doing the same thing that I did with my brows before. I'm just going in with a smaller brush to really get around the brows. I really hope that this makes sense to you guys when I'm saying this. It's setting my face, but it also is like not making me look super, super matte. And the reason I keep pointing that out is because I used to be somebody that only used matte products because I had the thought that, oh, well, my skin is oily, so I have to use all matte products. I can't use natural products. But now that I have been getting into natural products and finding that balance as to where, okay, I do have oily skin, but I still want to use these natural products because they look so beautiful on the skin. My skin looks so healthy. I'm really impressed with this as well. We're on a roll, guys. Next, we're gonna do powder blush, and this is the Sephora Matte Perfection Blush Duo, and this is in the color One Sweet Pea, so it's actually like a 2-in-1. So you have a darker color out here and then a more bright poppy pink over here. What I'm gonna do is actually just swirl the two together. You can do either 1, just the dark color, 2, just the light color, or 3, both of them. I really like that color. It didn't have a whole bunch of pigment to it on the first layer, but I was able to build it up a little bit more on the second layer. Just out of habit, I always do this. Go over my blush with my sponge. That's a very pretty, like natural pinky type of color. I also really like this. They have this in multiple colors, I believe, and it does come with a little mirror. I do not have a new highlighter, eyeliner, mascara, or any lip products, but I do want to give this setting spray a second try. So let me go ahead and finish the rest of my face. I'm telling you guys, if the setting spray ruins this beautiful look, we may have to throw hands. So I'll be right back. For highlighter, I went ahead and used this Milani highlighter duo. This is in the color Double Shot. For pencil liner, I used this Essence Long Lasting Eye Pencil, and this is in the color 2 Hot Chocolate. Finish my inner corner, and I'm gonna take this color in my quad called It's a Wrap. This is technically not a first impression because I've tried this product before. I don't know why I ended up buying this again. I think I used it in a dupes video or something, but this is the Milani Make It Last. This is the matte version. So every time I've tried this, it does exactly what the Morphe Mattifying Continuous Setting Mist does. It leaves little white dots on my face. So I absolutely love the original formula in this, and I absolutely, ironically enough, love the original formula of the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. Go ahead and give it one last try. It disturbs my makeup, and I don't appreciate that. It honestly, luckily did not make it look awful, but I feel like my skin looked better before I put the setting spray on than it did after. And it kind of has like a weird trash-ish type of smell, if that makes sense. It doesn't smell the best. Funny enough, I have been testing out this e.l.f. Big Mood mascara, and I ended up using this Milani Highly Rated mascara on my other eye because the wand on this is just too big for me because I only put mascara on my bottom lashes and it was like really clumpy. I went ahead and finished off the look doing a lip combo real quick. Juvia's Place Luxe lip liner in the color Cola. In the center, I put this NYX Lingerie XXL liquid lipstick, and this is in the color Low Cut. This is the finished look. Not gonna lie, this is probably my favorite full face of first impressions I have ever done, just because I feel like overall I loved the majority of the products. So usually I do a little mini review at the end for you guys, but since I really did mostly love everything, I'm just gonna quickly talk about what I didn't like as much. This doesn't mean that these products are bad, but they didn't stand out to me as much as the others did. SPATULA Beauty Primer Mist, I mean, I guess it was all right, but I didn't really feel like it was super invigorating and hydrating as far as feeling went. Surprisingly though, it did not like make my skin super oily and slick and shiny. It actually kept my face pretty normal. It's like a friend that you just know is bad for you, but you just keep going back and you keep going back because you want it to work so bad. That's this. The Sephora eyeshadow primer, it was all right. Honestly, I feel like the e.l.f. eyeshadow primer is very similar to this. In my opinion, especially with high-end makeup, if I can find something that does the same thing that is cheaper, then I'm gonna go with the cheaper option. Now, the only time I'll go with the higher end option is if I feel like that higher end option offers something that the drugstore option doesn't. Hot clumpy mess. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you guys did enjoy today's video, I do have a whole playlist filled with these types of videos that I will link right up here for you guys. And also, if you like these videos, make sure to come back and check my channel every once in a while because I have so much new makeup that I need to test out for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.